Let's get a check on the U.S. markets and the current state of the economy this morning. Joining us is Lakshman Achuthan. He's the co-founder and chief operations officer at the Economic Cycle of Research Institute. And, you know, we take a look at all of this stuff, Lak. You had been calling for a recession. Yeah. And most of the numbers that we get point to all kinds of growth. We're feeling better about the jobs market. We're feeling better about just the general growth, manufacturing growth that's coming in. What do you see, and is your call still stand?
Well, yes, our call still stands. And since our recession call, which was at the end of September, late September, so it's 5 months ago, all of the definitive, when you look at the definitive hard data that is used to officially date business cycle recessions, it has been getting worse, not better, despite what the consensus view of an improving economy has been. And so I can very clearly explain that. I'd like to list them, okay? So GDP growth, year over year, it peaks in Q3 of 2010 and falls down to 1.5% by Q2 of 2011 and has flatlined essentially since then. The last reading was 1.6. Similarly, personal income growth, how much, I'm talking big aggregate numbers, it has the same kind of pattern. Broad sales growth, the broadest measures of sales, same kind of pattern. Industrial production growth year over year. As of January, it is at a 22-month low. So you put all of this is what normally is done. This is not something done just now for this conversation. This is how it's always done. You put it into a coincident index of the U.S. economy, and if you look at the year-over-year growth of that index, it's now at a 21-month low. So to be clear, the coincident index, it's the definitive measure of economic growth. In English, the growth has been slowing.
But we feel a lot better. We feel a lot better than we did.
Well, let's get to that. But I want to be first on this. The coincident index, here's the chart right here. On the right-hand side of that chart, that's a 21-month low. It has not, you haven't had a decline like that in the past 50 years without a recession following in short order. Okay, so the right-hand side of that chart's a 21-month low in the growth rate of all of the indicators: output, jobs, income, and sales. Okay, and that's not cherry-picked data. That is the data that is always used. So that's the reality. Now, why do people feel better? Why do people feel better?
What's interesting is that, you know who seems to agree with you?
Uh-oh. Then now I'm worried.
Well, you ought to be able to figure this out yourself if you think about it. The Fed.
Well, yeah, no, I understand.
Because the Fed, how long ago, we all said, what? They said, we're even going to stay low longer. And it's like, wait, everything seems to be improving. Why are you saying this now? What do you know that we don't know?
Although and Fisher and others on the Fed have said that they disagree with the general consensus.
Why did they put in writing 2014? Because they knew what Locke knows. Well, and maybe. I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to hurt you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think you might need a little help.
I am going to take it. And
you might need a little.
Look, I wish this wasn't our forecast. I mean, we are the skunk at the garden party. It's no fun. But to the point of the Fed, what's going on there? You've never seen something like this. The world's central banks, plural, are printing money like crazy.
Like they know.
So it's part of the reason you feel better, right? Because that does make you feel a little bit better. But go to where that interacts with the economy. You look at the velocity of money. How often does money exchange? All that money that's going in, they're goosing the money supply. How often does it exchange in the economy? That's a really important metric on the health of the economy. It has dropped to a record low in the United States. It's near a record low in Europe. It's even near a record low in China. Okay? These are not symptoms of health. And when you have all that money out there, it's got to do something, so it is goosing the markets.
Does the coincident index
that's a fact.
Does it give us an indication of what's coming in terms of the jobs outlook? Have we seen the best numbers of the jobs, and is the jobs picture going to get worse from here?
Okay, the coincident index itself does not forecast forward. What we've seen there in that decline in the growth rate you haven't seen in the past 50 years without a recession in short order, so that doesn't bode well for jobs. Speaking to jobs, I admit, I am acknowledging they have improved through the latest readings, okay? But jobs are basically a bit of a lagging indicator. They follow, they do not lead consumer spending growth.
But
and consumer spending growth has been going down.
Would your call
be that jobs are going to get worse?
Jobs are going to get worse from
They're going to, yeah. I'd say in the next few months, I would expect them to start to flag, because they lag at turning points where consumer spending growth has been going, and we know that's very clearly been going down. And if you delve into that, look at personal disposable income. This gets to your gas stuff. You look at personal disposable income. That has been negative now, growth, for 5 months. You've never had that, not even close, away from a recession.
When you talk about short order, and I know it's hard.
Short order?
You keep saying that a recession is supposed to follow in short order.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're timing the market a little bit.
I'm timing the economy.
Okay.
Okay.
What does short order ultimately mean? Meaning, you've made a bold call.
Yeah.
How long can you hold on to this call, or how long is this supposed to last? And when do you reevaluate and say, you know what, maybe this isn't right?
Last year, when we, in the wake of making the call, we did say that the recession should begin by mid-year 2012.
Mid-year 2012.
By mid-year 2012. So
you still have time.
I still have time, but here's the rub, Andrew, is that if you look historically, I can't tell you today it started this second, because I won't know, because all the data is going to get revised like crazy for the next year. But when you're looking in the rearview mirror, you see it takes about a half a year after a recession begins before people realize that a recession has begun. The markets are a little bit better, okay, than the consensus view. But right now, with the consensus being totally against what I'm saying today, all I'm saying is look at the facts.
So if
that's
now
not a
is
forecast.
the beginning, we'd figure it out around November, right around the election?
If now is the beginning, let's say the recession started right around now, you'd figure it out. I think the consensus would figure it out in about 6 months.
You think about Europe, and you think about
so that's
May, June, July, August. So we figure.
You think about Europe, austerity. You think about China with the pieces we've been reading. You think about gasoline prices, and you put all that together, he might not be crazy.
Okay, but I want to know, Locke, has there been any moment or any number you've seen in the past 2, 3, 4 months since we last saw you, where you said, you know what, I got to plug these new numbers in, and this may change the way I'm thinking about it?
No. Now let's switch to our leading indicators. When we look to because we've been talking about facts, not forecasts so far. Now looking at the leading indicators.
Stock market.
Is one of them.
Great, and that's
but the stock market, just like it's forecast 9 out of the past 5 recessions, it's forecast 9 out of the past 5 recoveries.
It could be QE related too.
Well, that's it. Think about first off, on the leading indicators, I look at them across the board. They're not negating our recession forecast, the full array. Okay, and when we look at things like our public weekly leading index, people point to that and say, hey, it's running up. It's risen a little from its lows in December, and given the mountains. I mean, we're not in Kansas anymore, right? We're printing a lot of money. And given all that money, I'm surprised that index hasn't lifted more, because the risk assets are being goosed. And now look back to early 08. Recession begins in December 07. And what happens in early 08? You get a springtime rally, double digits in S&P. We've gone much further this time, but we've printed quite a bit more money. Then it was quaint. We were cutting interest rates a little bit. Back there, inside of a recession, oil went to 147. Right. Because the economy wasn't able to absorb all that liquidity. It didn't need it for commerce or for activity. And what's a dollar bill to do if it can't?
This is very troubling to your world view.
I
mean, this is very troubling to you. This messes up your election. This is I can see
messes up my election.
Well, this is very troubling to you if this were to be. I mean, I see you over there very concerned about the possibility.
No, I'm trying to understand. I gave him a hard time last time he was on, and I'm trying to understand the thinking and the black box and what's in the box.
It was really good. You looked at me and said, "Oh my God, this is horrible."
This is not a black box.
Jobs number. Remember that day you said your whole. Well, that's what I'm doing here. But I can see you over there going, "Oh my God, this is
coincident indicators."
New evidence.
Hang on. These are facts, not forecasts. This is not a black box. GDP year-over-year growth rate peaked in early 2010. It's flatlined at 1.5. Personal income growth down. Sales growth down. Industrial production growth down to a 22-month low as of January. Those are the indicators that are used to define recessions. They are getting worse.
You got to stop. Number one, we got to go. And I mean, I'm worried about your weekend. Now, I mean, you're going to be.
I'm renaming Locke. I think Locke is going to take the mantle of Dr. Doom.
Really?
Robini, forget about it. This is the man right here.
Are you going to be okay this week?
We're doing what we always do. We're sticking to our knitting. We're not doing anything different here.
You're going to be hitting the
thank
bottle.
you very much for coming in.
We'll call the recovery too when it comes.
Do it. Tell us if there's anything that changes the picture, but we'll have you back again very soon to talk more about this.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Lon.